Okay, I want to show you how to knead dough. Now, I don't normally knead dough. I normally do the stretch and fold method, but I do think it's important if you want to knead dough that you know how to do it. Okay, so there are various techniques to kneading dough. The most important point is, can you see, I'm going to turn this right out onto this surface and there's no flour on the surface. I have got the hydration of this dough how I want it. If I was to add flour to the surface now whilst I'm kneading, then I'm going to make that a much drier dough than it is at the moment, and that will not be ideal. I just get a scraper and I turn it out onto the surface. Now there's various techniques for kneading, okay? And all you really want to do is stretch the dough and fold it over itself, okay? Just because what you're doing as you're kneading is you are creating a network of gluten. So you're stretching the dough and folding it over so that the gluten can really strengthen and become like a network of gluten rather than sheets of gluten that are drifting over one another. So there is various things, but what I like to do is make sure that this dough, for example, is very sticky. And so what I want to do is make sure that I'm lifting the dough regularly off the surface. And the best technique for doing that is the slap and fold method, okay? So what you're doing is you're getting underneath and you're lifting it off the surface. You're slapping it onto the bench and folding it over itself, okay? So lifting it off the surface, slap and fold. And then what you can do is start to integrate a little twist in there. So you're picking the dough up at that angle and you're twisting it towards you. Slap it down, fold it over. Slap and fold, okay? Now Richard Burtonnet in his book Dough shows you this technique on his DVD. So another technique that you could use is pushing it away with the heel of your hand and bringing it over itself. Pushing it away and bringing it over. But that's not lifting it up each time. And what can happen is you end up getting very stuck to the surface and the dough stuck to you. Whereas I find with the slap and fold, because I'm letting it go and lifting it off the surface, the dough wants to stick to itself rather than you. Okay, so you can see I'm quite fast at this because I've had lots of experience. So if I slow right down, I'm stretching, folding it, picking it up, turning it towards me, slapping it down again, stretching, folding, picking it up at an angle, turning it towards me, slapping it down, stretch and fold at an angle, turn it towards me, slap, stretch, fold. You see how stretchy the dough is? It'll stretch quite far as I'm pulling it. Okay, so actually we are nearly 10 minutes into doing this now, and I can feel that the dough is changing a little bit under my touch. Well, not just a little bit, quite a lot. It's becoming smoother, more satiny. I can feel the gluten develop. Okay. So let's have a look at how satiny smooth it is. Okay, I hope you can see the satiny shine on it. Starting to get little air bubbles and blisters on there. But it's had 15 minutes of kneading. So it should be sufficiently developed to make a good loaf of bread. And it certainly feels lovely and bouncy and satiny smooth. Okay, so back in the bowl it goes. We'll cover it up and let it develop.